Good evening to all. This is Aman, your subject matter expert for automobile engineering. As we have discussed in the previous audio or the previous video regarding the technology which has made a difference, which will make a difference in the coming futures, and they are the IoTs, additive manufacturing, and the robotics. So, talking in detail, we start off with IoT. So companies in the manufacturing sectors should definitely consider leveraging IoT. So let's see about the current adoption status as to what companies have been using or what companies gonna use IoTs. So at present, companies from various manufacturing sectors such as cement, chemical, engineering, and food processing are adopting or have adopted IoTs. The PwC Manufacturing Survey reveals that nearly half of the business leaders surveyed has implemented or are piloting these technologies. 81% of the leaders view IoT as strategically somewhat or very important to the company, or as compared to 58% of the leaders from around the globe. So, how essential is IoT, or how strategically important is IoT to any organization? So, global IoT adoption forecasts are rather impressive. Gartner estimates that IoT hardware spending will increase at a CAGR of approximately 14% between 2016 to 2020 in the industry sector and at approximately 29% in the consumer sector. These figures indicate a huge revenue growth opportunity for manufacturers of IoT-enabled devices and machinery, particularly in sectors such as engineering and capital goods, electronics, and consumer goods. At the same time, these figures indicate that the manufacturing industry will invest substantially to support the implementation of IoT. Talking about the dominant use of IoT, we talk about four major points. That is, the first one includes plant and supply chain monitoring and optimization, productivity enhancement, receiving feedback on a product while the customer is using it. Hence, as a result of this, we can optimize a given supply chain and we can enhance the productivity. This can be done as a result of a continuous feedback that we get from the customers. Hence, in this case, IoT plays a very important role. The second point, the dominant use, includes hand-free driving and accident avoidance. This can be taken, or this can be judged as a future perspective in terms of electric e-vehicles without driver, landslides and equipment failure prediction, toxic gas detection for safety, tracking of miners or vehicles to improve productivity. And the fourth point includes early detection of maintenance requirement and tracking of energy consumption. Talking about the top challenges of IoT adoption, here we deal majorly with the five major challenges. The first challenge is strategic direction. Companies need to have a clear vision about the ways in which they will use IoT. That is, the increased operational efficiency, changing the business model, or enhancing product or service offering. The second includes interoperability. Interoperability refers to the sensors, network communication, cloud, or big data analytics. Together makes IoT work. Procurement or deployment without analyzing overall impact can lead to a faulty deployment. The third one is the data security. With a huge amount of data being generated, companies will eventually have to opt for cloud service. Ownership and security of data transfer will be an important concern. The fourth one is trained workforce. This is one of the crucial part in case of adoption of IoT in any sector. That is, we need to have full knowledge of IoT as well as the hardware, software, and the network. To support this technology, company will require very trained and talented workforce. The fifth challenge is the lack of infrastructure. IoT will be fully effective when the states or the Indian states have right infrastructures. Reliable connectivity is the biggest requirement. Talking about additive manufacturing, Additive manufacturing is another breakthrough technology that will shape the industry. Recent advances in 3D printing technology has led to additive manufacturing being absorbed into the mainstream industrial manufacturing processes. Talking about the current adoption status, India is still using additive manufacturing mostly for visualization process, that is for building models, creation of toys, or for prototyping. This method is yet to be adopted in mainstream manufacturing. The PwC survey revealed that 46% of Indian leaders recognize the importance of additive manufacturing to their organization as compared to 38% of the global leaders in the manufacturing industry. So, how strategically important is additive manufacturing to any organization? Additive manufacturing also has potential applications in part replacement for manufacturers of product with long lives and high demands for replacement of parts and repair work. Additive manufacturing technology can offer significant benefit. As quoted by Smita Pandit Chakravarti, the managing director of Phoenix Conveyor, she quotes, additive manufacturing offers numerous advantages. SMEs will benefit tremendously from this method. But the problem in that SMEs is the lack of the required financial support. If programs can be initiated to make this technology more affordable to them, the SMEs will be able to make the most of 3D printing. So, talking about the industries and the dominant use of additive manufacturing. In case of jewelry, jewelry can be customized, or jewelry with customized and complicated designs can be created by using additive manufacturing. In case of automotive, additive manufacturing can be used for producing of different parts replacement and prototyping. Food processing, food in liquid or powder form can be 3D printed for increasing customization or any personal nutrition. Electronics, additive manufacturing is immensely helpful on account of the size, shape, and material used in the electronic industry. So the technology is maturing fast. So the technology is maturing in terms of three dimension. That is the 3D printers which gave an improved speed and improved user friendliness. The software which improved 3D scanning, improved designing and improved optimization for 3D printing. And finally the material which includes the multi-material fabrication moving beyond plastic and high resolutions. So talking about the disruptions by additive manufacturing, is related to restructured supply chain. It's a threat to the intellectual property, the challenged relationship with the customers and end users, and the reduced need for transportation and logistics. Now talking about the robotics. Robotics is one of the important technology that is making its mark. Given the evidence in the field, robots have begun to be used in various new plants. Adoption of robotics have increased worldwide. A hybrid workforce comprised of human workers and robots is the future workforce of a successful manufacturing company. Each sector and region will have to find its own way of developing such a workforce. So talking about the current adoption status, the PwC survey reveals that robotics adoption is quite low in the manufacturing companies. Only 4% of the companies have actually adopted or in the process of adopting robots. Further, 90% of the companies are either not interested or still they do not have any plan to implement robotics. So how strategically important is robotics to your organization? According to a survey, 45% of the global manufacturing leaders are agreeing that robotics play a very vital role in the coming futures. Today's advanced robotics have a greater computing power and sensor technologies to enable vision recognition, more sophisticated sound and movement direction and tactile force and torque control sensing, which allows them to sense an object that bumps into them and detects the presence of human in the surrounding. These developments are enabling robots to make decisions based on new situation in unstructured environment as opposed to performing one repetitive task in a fixed position. As a result, a robot can carry out tasks like transportation of material or supplies, picking and packaging, product testing, and inspection alongside human resource. So, talking about the dominant use of robotics are like assembling, painting, welding, which are best done by the industrial robot. Locating, placing, assembling high precision product with greater accuracy and inspection. Cutting, welding, joining, forming, taking measurement, surface treatment, finishing, and inspection are the diverse functions or the diverse ways in which the robotics can be used in a manufacturing unit. Robotics can be used in order to increase the flexibility, to reduce the changeover time, enable more product variety from a single factory, and material handling and packaging will be easier when we use robots. The top challenges which the industry faces while adopting robots are: it's not cost effective, the initial invest is quite high, insufficient research and expertise, and the fatal accident due to inadequate worker knowledge. The fear of job reduction needs to be addressed appropriately in order to manage human resource. Whether robots will impact society as job makers or job takers is still debatable. However, replacing the expertise of people with robots will not be simple. Factories will require a dedicated workforce to monitor and maintain robots during production time. Moreover, growth of business as a result of robotic implementation may in turn increasing the count of human workers. The company leadership needs to communicate the plan with enough clarity to address such concerns of the staff. Hence, this is all about the technologies which needs to be addressed or which needs to be enabled in a manufacturing sector in the industry 4.0 in order to see very vast growth in them. So this is all about the technology enabled manufacturing process.